सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये। चैतन्यं सर्वगं सर्वं सर्वभूतगुहाशयम् यत्सर्वविषयातीतं तस्मै सर्वविदे नमः। How ajnanam is avastha bijam is a bijam, the seed, the material cause of three avasthas, waking, dream, deep sleep. And by that it also becomes a cause for the variety appearance of the Jivatma, that the ajnanam or maya gets transformed as the gross, subtle and causal bodies, the individual cosmic gross body, individual cosmic subtle body, individual cosmic causal body, which are called Vishwa and Virat, Taisa Hiranyagarbha, and then identified with that is the Atma. So Atma comes to be called Vishwa and Virat, Taisa Hiranyagarbha, Prajna, Ishvara. By default, what happens is there is Maya or Ajnanam that undergoes this kind of transformation. It is its nature that a real transformation takes place. But it is the nature of Maya or Ajnanam to reflect consciousness as though. And therefore, when the reflecting medium is there, just as a bucket on the terrace, it is the nature of the water to reflect the sun or any lighter object. And so it is the nature of this gross, subtle, causal bodies to reflect consciousness, reflect Atma. So what are the three kinds of reflections we have? At the individual level, called Adhyatmika, cosmic level, Adidaivika. And they come to be called Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna, Vaishvanara, Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara. Even that also is all right. You can say this is creation. What further Ajnanam does is, it creates identification or the notion of part of Chaitanya. Just as an actor who is very well dressed as a beggar before entering the stage, looks at a huge mirror and sees himself and thinks, I am a beggar, this is beggar, and I am a beggar. It is one thing that it is nature of the costume to be a beggar or a king or a minister. It's other nature that it is nature of a mirror to reflect that. Up to that point there is no problem. There is creation, there is drama, there is play. Where the problem arises is that when the actor looks at the mirror and concludes that I am a beggar, that's where the samsara begins. So not only is the reflection is shown by Maya, Maya also creates the notion of identification or the notion arising from identification that I am Vishwaha, I am Tejasa, I am Prajna. Tadeva ekam tridhagnayam maya bijam punah kramat. So that maya akhyam bijam kramat means succession takes these forms of sushupti, swapna and jagrat. Mayavi atma vikaropi bahudha eko. And mayavi atma, maya adhisthana atma, atma the adhisthana of maya, avikara hai, who is by nature, avikara hai, changeless, modificationless. Ekah bahudha jalarkavat. Just as one sun appears as many reflections, so also this one avikara mayavi, avikara the changeless adhisthana of maya. This is all right, all this is part of creation. But bahuda, even appearance as many is not a problem. You can enjoy your reflections in various mirrors. The problem is to identify, judge myself based on the reflection. Then concave mirror I may appear one way, convex mirror may show me a different way, and think that this is what I am. This is where the problem is. So this is how the samsara is explained. Nature of creation, nature of creation upadhi. And also creation includes the reflection of the image into the upadhi. And samsara is judging oneself based on that reflection. Continuing now with the next verse. Uktimeva dustant dashtantikam. Dushtanta and dashtanta. Dushtanta is how one, so one arka or the sun appears many, so also one atma appears as Vishwa, Tejasa, Prajna. So dushtanta, dashtantika, both were described in the previous verse. Prapanchayati. Dushtanta illustration was just stated, and dashtanta illustrated also was stated. Prapanchayati, further expanded idea in the next verse, 28. Bijam chaikam yatha bhinnam pranasvapnadibhistatha स्वप्नजागृत शरीरेषु तद्वच्चात्मा जलेन्दुवत्. So Dushtanta, Dashtanta was stated. So Tridha Bhinnam, that same Mayakhyam Bijam, the Maya, which is bija, the cause, transforms itself threefold. Which are those threefold ways? Prana Swapnadivi Bhindam. When Maya transforms itself as Prana, Swapna, etc. When Swapna Jagrat Sharireshu, in Swapna Sharira, Jagrat Sharira, etc. Then how about Atma? Jalenduvat, Tadvat Atma, Jalenduvat. So Drishtanta is explained at three states. What are those three states? Darstanta also explains what are those reflections. So Bijam Chaikam Yatha Bhinnam Tadevaikam Tridha Bhinnam Vigneyam. That one Maya is to be known in threefold ways. What are they? Prana Swapna Devistatha. Those three states are described here. Prana is one state, Swapna, etc. So what is this prana? Tikakara says, prana iti avyakrutavasthokti. Here prana stands for Hiranyagarbha, the Sutratma, and the cause of Sutratma, Avyakta. So by prana is meant the cause of prana, which is Avyakruta, undifferentiated or causal state. Swapna divihi, Swapna etc. So Jagadavastha, Murshavastha grihhyate. Swapna etc. Dream etc. includes the waking as well as the Mursha, Samadhi etc. also. And the state of being unconscious. Thus, it is the Maya that transforms itself with all these various states. Yatha bijam chaikam bhinnam. Yatha ekam avidya mayakhyam bijam. Bhinnam is divided, appears in these threefold ways. Avyakrutat avastha bhedena bhinnam. When Maya becomes differentiated as Avyakruta, as Swapna, as Avyakruta Sushupti, Swapna, Jagrat, Mursha, etc. Tatha Swapna Jagrat Sharireshu. So Maya transforms as the Sharira, various bodies of Swapna, Jagrat, etc. Samasti Vyashti Sthul Sukshma Sharireshu. So gross and subtle and the causal bodies at the individual and the cosmic levels. Jalendavat Chidabhasa bhi bhinna bhavati. Chidabhasa also appears divided like a sun, like the sun appearing divided in various containers of water. Tadvachatma jalenduvat tada tat adhishthanabhutah chidatma cha upadhigata avasa avivekat tad bhinnah vibhavyate. Here not only there is this phenomenon of reflection, it is true that the sun appears as many reflections, so Atma appears as a waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, happy, unhappy, etc. Countless appearances are there. But then, Upadigat Abhas Avivekena or Avivekat. What this sun sees the reflection, imagine. Avivekat, because the viveka is not there, that my true nature is image and this is the reflection. The sun takes himself to be the reflection. See, this is how we always say, not that you take the reflection to be real, that's not the problem. That is not the real example as they give. The real example is sun takes himself to be divided and many. Vibhavyate, to sun, not to us. To sun itself, the reflections are many and real. So it is not that in us some notion is created, in the sun the notion is created. That is how the example should be understood. Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Vishwa Vaishvanaradi Bhedena. Taijasa Hiranyagarbha, the individual cosmic subtle body and self reflected in them. Vishwa Vaishvanara, self reflected in the individual cosmic gross bodies, etc. Prakasha. Same thing is explained, nothing new here. So in case what was stated in the previous verse was too brief, some ideas are here a little clarified so that the previous verse becomes clear to us. The whole setup becomes clear. Nu yadi atmanah maya kalpiteshu upadibhedeshu bahutvam maya kalpiteshu upadibhedeshu, the upadis which are bhinna or divided or various, such as the Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti, gross body, subtle body, causal body, etc. Maya Atmana Bahutvam, and Atma becomes many because upadis are many. Just a question. If Atma becomes many because of the reflecting mediums become many, then tatra vyaparatvam abhi syaditi, then not only Atma appears as many, but Atma appears as acting in many ways. Atma has become many. Not only Atma appears as the reflection in the individual and cosmic gross bodies, but Atma acts as a waker, as Virat, as dreamer, as Hiranyagarbha, and so Atma performs a variety of activities also which are associated with those entities. Katham kutasthada. So Atma is one in spite of appearing many, that is stated by the example of sun and the reflection. But Atma is changeless in spite of appearing changing. As a waker also Atma undergoes change constantly, as a dreamer. So not only many is one, but that constantly changing. How is he changeless? How is the one that appears many is one? How is the one that appears many is one? Second question is, how is it the one that appears changing is changeless? That's the question. So oneness is explained by example of sun. Changelessness is explained by another example. Iti asanga drishtanta nirakaroti. Another illustration how all the changes are also apparent. Changes can be apparent without real change taking place. For that, another example is given. Maya hastinamiti. So next verse is Maya hastinamaruhya Maya vyeko yathavraje Agaccham tadvadevatma Pranasvapnadi gocharaha. Yatha, just as Mayavi ekaha yatha vrajet. Mayavi is the magician. Ekaha is one. Maya hastinamaruhya. In fact, that magician is standing by, and magician creates a magic elephant and rides on the magic elephant. And to these spectators, it looks like the magician is going and coming, whereas in reality, is standing on the side, not going, not coming. How one is not going, not coming, appears to be going and coming to some. So, yatha vrajet, agachan goes and comes. Taddadeva atma, in a manner similar to atma, prasvapna digochara. Similarly, also atma appears to be going from waking to dream, deep sleep, comes back. Meaning that it is merely comparable with magic and not reality. Real Atma is standing by. And this projected Atma appears to be like those sound, light and sound shows, all projection. So the projected Atma is awake and is dreaming and sleeping and comes back. Well, real Atma is standing by all the time. So Tika says, Yathaiva eko mayavi swamaya nimitam hastinam aruhya vrajed. Mayavi means a magician. Just as one magician creates also a magic elephant and rides on that elephant. Vrajed and goes ishtam desham in the direction of desirable place, he goes to a desirable place. Agacham Sabhaudian appears to be coming also, returning also. Gamanagame acharaniva bhasmanopi. Even though that magician Bhasman appears to be Gamanagame acharan, while Gamanam he appears to be going and coming. So while going through the achara or these activities or vyavahara of going and coming, that magician really doesn't go, he is just standing by his side. So how for the one who is motionless, there appears motion of going and coming. Because his going coming goes on, that is why going and coming. Punah punah. Tadvat iva atma pranasvapna digochara. Tadvat tathaiva, in a manner similar to that, atma pranasvapnadi gatatvena vibhavimanaha. Atma that appears to be reflected in prana, in the deep sleep state, swapna, the dream state, etc., waking. Vibhavimana. So looks like now the Atma has gone to sleep, has woken up, has gone to dream, gone to sleep, come back to waking. And not only towards Atma things, this is all, the problem is, the real example is not we are looking at the Mayavi. Atma looks at himself. The spectators may have notion that is a different thing, which is how the example is explained. But Atma thinks that I am going and coming. Now, the spectators think that this fellow is going and coming is one thing. That's always the example, but a real example is Atma thinks that I am going and coming. Achala, Kutastha, Agochara, or Agochalaha, Pranasvapnadi Gochalaha, or Pranasvapnadi Gocharaha. Pranasvapnadi Gaha. So Pranasvapnadi Gachati, one who goes to Prana, Swapna, deep sleep, waking, etc., dream. But Aga, the Achara, but one who doesn't move. Or Gochara, one who goes to Prana Swapna but doesn't really go. Kutastha eva is Achalaha, Kutastha eva. So just as that magician appears to be riding an elephant and coming and going also, similarly Atma is riding the avastha, waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, and appears to be going to sleep and coming back from sleep, etc. Whereas in reality, there is no movement in Atma, no change. It's Kutastha, Acharaha, Achalaha. Pranadi, Upadi Sambandham, Atman angikritya uktam. This is stated, accepting for the time being that Atma gets reflected in the Upadhi. Atma has relation with Upadhi of image and reflection, accepting that. Just as the sun has relation with the reflecting medium, so Atma has a relation with, associated with the Maya as a reflecting medium, gets reflected. So, Upadhi sambandham Atmanangi krutya. And there can be sambandha like this with Upadhi. What sambandha? The image and reflection. That sambandha, accepting that Atma as though gets reflected in the Upadhi. Understand that? Idanam sopinasi, don't think that there is a reflection, etc. People get stuck with reflection, they imagine Atma there, and reflecting medium here, and reflection, and things like that. Don't think that that kind of setup is there. Because there the sun is always away, and reflecting medium is here, so Atma is away. So that illustration also is not to be taken in the total sense, the primary sense. Therefore, the confusion that that illustration we have created needs to be clear. Which then in the next verse says, verse 30. Nahasti natadarudaha maya vyanyo yathasthitaha na pranadina tadrashta tathagnyonyas sadadrishihi. In reality, there is no elephant. Not one riding the elephant either. Who is there? Anya, Mayavi, all there is the Jadugara or the magician. That's all there is. And there is no elephant. There is no one riding the elephant. All there is that magician standing, Sita standing on the side. Similarly also, na pranadi, don't think that there is. So now, even now, rejecting the idea of the three states, etc. Don't think there is a dreamer and waker and deep sleeper. All there is a turiya. Na pranadi, don't think there is a vyakruta avastha, sushupti avastha, dream state, waking state. So it depends upon what standpoint you accept. From the standpoint of the onlooker, there is the rope, it's a snake, etc. From the standpoint of the rope, there is no snake. So from the standpoint of Mayavi, there is no hasti, no elephant, no rider. So from the standpoint of Atma, there is no waker, no dreamer, no association. Na pranadi, there are no different states of waking, dream. Na tadrashta, not one reflecting there and seeing those things. Tathagnihanya sadadrushi, who is the one, just as all there is a magician, different from the elephant and rider of the elephant and movement of the elephant. So all there is the sadadrushi, ever seeing, ever the self-shining consciousness, Atma, that's all there is. Meaning that when you identify the Atma, then you realize there is no waking, dream, deep sleep. So when you look at the moon from the standpoint of clouds, looks like the moon is moving. When you look at the moon, then the clouds are running. So you look at the Upadhi, looks like Atma is going and coming. Looking at Atma, there is no Upadhi at all. So where is going and coming? Just as in the robe there is no snake, no existence of snake. Snake is ever absent in the robe, so also is Maya, all of these are absent in a magician. In a magician there is no elephant. no rider of the elephant. So in Atma, there is no waking, no dreaming, no waker, no dreamer. This is a sequence of knowledge. First, you understand that this coming and going to various states is only mithya. Second, understand that there is no coming, no going, all there is just Chit Chaitanya. Sadadrushi, ever shining, ever witness. Then somebody has asked a question. Vastutah Mahaprāṇādi Upādi Sambandha Abhāvepi. All right. You say that Atma has no sambandha, no association, no relation with the Prāṇādi Upādi, with the deep sleep state, dream state, waking state, gross body, subtle body, no sambandha at all. So Atma does not have sambandha with Upādi, with the product, with the karya. But Maya sambandha, but Atma has sambandha with Maya, the cause. Apariharya. How can you negate the relationship that Atma has with Maya, the cause? Yes, there is no sambandha with the gross body, the subtle body, causal body, waking, dream, deep sleep. The cause of all of this Maya, how can you deny the association of Atma with Maya, apariharya iti? Unavoidable, undeniable, unavoidable. That will take, Maya is there and Atma is there. Sambandha will take place. So sun is there, water is there, reflection will take place. How can you avoid that? If this is the question, Atha to answer that question, next verse says, Abadda chakshusho nasti Maya Maya vinopiva Baddhakshasya sa Maya Amaya vyeva tato bhave. Or Maya vyeva tato, that reading also is there, as the footnote says. But anyway, so let's see. Abadda chakshusho nasti Maya Maya vinopiva. Abadda chakshusha, sixth case. Abadda chakshuhu, one whose chakshu is not bound, means one who is not under spell. And so the magician casts a spell on the spectators. In Gujarati, Najar Bandhi. Badda chakshuhu, meaning that he casts a spell upon the spectators, therefore spectators see as he wants them to see. That is called a magician has that power. Otherwise, we can't do that. We must have that power. Among them, there are those who are not influenced by the spell. There can be. So somebody says, a psychiatrist, that I can put anybody to sleep. So Swami, I can do that to you. All I do that. Try it for science. No, hey, you are not cooperating with me. Why should I cooperate with you? If I cooperate, then only you can influence me, not otherwise. Therefore, one who does not cooperate with this spell, for whatever reason, maybe other magician there in the audience, or some other person may be there, who is not influenced by the spell cast by the magician, then he doesn't see an elephant. Abadda chakshusho nasti Maya. No magic. Maya vinopiva. And then Mayavi, the magician also does not see that. Two entities don't see. The magician knows there is no elephant, etc. And the one who is not come under the spell of the magic also doesn't see that. That's the wise person. Baddhakshasya sa Maya. So even association with Maya also is only for Baddhaksha, for the one who is under spell, who is ignorant. Amayavi eva tato vedava Atma is amayavi. Not even Mayavi. You are free from Maya, even the Mayavitvam. So now shifting the standpoints from the modification Upadhi to the Upadhi and then now to the Upahita. So who is Abadda Chakshushaha? That word is explained. Nabaddam Chakshuyasya Abadda Chakshu. One's eyes are not bound, meaning one is not under the spell. Tasya Laukikasya Yatha Maya Nasti. Even though that person may be a part of the audience, and still he doesn't have the Maya, he doesn't see the magic, not influenced by magic. Maya Vinopi, as a person who doesn't see the magic, not influenced, is the Maya, is the magician himself. So one who is not influenced by the spell among the audience and the magician himself, Maya Nasti. So don't think that Maya has an existence. So the association of Atma with Maya will be there if both of them enjoy the same degree of reality. Then only association can be there. But Atma transcends the Maya, therefore from standpoint of Atma there is no Maya. Therefore, there is no rule that Maya must be associated with Atma or Atma must be associated with Maya, because Maya does not enjoy the same degree of reality as Atma. Even for vice person also, two persons. Only Atma does not see Maya, therefore how can there be Sambandha? The Sambandha, the association, relation can be there, provides there in the first place. So thus there is no Sambandha of Atma, and even for a vice person also. Abadda Chakshu. Tatha Chakshubandhabhavat Maya Nasti. Maya also doesn't see Maya because he also is not under the spell. Two entities are not under the spell. Some spectator and the magician himself. Maya Vinopi Va, Maya Vinopi Iva, Maya Vi Iva. Abadda Chakshu. The one who is not under spell does not see Maya, just as Mayavi does not see, magician does not see. Abhishabdat avasthota nischadapi Mayavina Vamukhyati. And also in case he sees, a person who is not under the spell sees Maya, sees an elephant, but still for that person it is not real. So, avastu nischayadapi, either you don't see, or you see, but you know that it is mithya. Both ways. So when the wise person does not do vyavahara, he doesn't see. He does vyavahara also, then he sees that it is mithya, then also there is no effect. And Maya Iva, Vi Iva Abadha Chakshu. Just as Mayavi does not see because of knowledge, so also the wise person does not see. In that sense, a wise person is equal to Ishvara. In the sense of knowledge, not in sense of Upadhi. So wise person becomes Ishvara by knowledge, not in terms of being able to create, etc. Wise person has the same perception as Ishvara has. Therefore, Abadda Chakshu and Mayavi are equated here. Maya means Ishvara. Baddhakshasya sa Maya, second line says, Maya is only for Baddhaksha, for the one with under the spell. Sa Maya, Baddhakshasya bhayetu hastyadiva bhasada ityartha. That Maya appears like an elephant, etc., only for the one who is under the spell, and he is scared by the elephant. And whatever is the magician shows. Like a child gets scared when it sees, a tiger in the movie screen, not knowing that it is just an appearance. So also we get scared of what all happens in this universe, and because this is all taken to be real. Tatah. So maya eva tato bhavet. That tato tatah. Tatah tasmad. Tata means not thereafter, because of that. Mayavi eva. Amayavi eva bhaved. Therefore Atma is amayavi eva. Maya upalakshita eva bhaved puman. Maya adhara ityartha. So Maya adhara. So one who is the locus of Maya really is only one who is indicated by a Mayavi, not even Mayavi. So in its essential nature, the magician is not a Mayavi also from his own standpoint, because he does not see Maya. So Atma does not see the Maya, therefore Atma is not even Mayavi. As long as we accept Maya, so long Atma is called Mayavi. As long as we accept magic, so long the person is magician. But for the magician himself there is no magic. And for the one who is not in the spell also there is no magic. So there is no magician also, all there is a person. So also all there is Atma, for Atma and for the wise person. So that's the Drishtanta. We told Darstanta, we said, but first Drishtanta, now the Tikakara explained Darstanta, we already explained it. Ayam eva shloka Darstantike viyujya. Same shloka also can be explained as Darstanta. The illustrated meaning the Mayavi is Drishtanta, Atma is Darstanta. And then magic is Drishtanta, Maya is the Darstanta, etc. Now, Abadha Chakshusha, there, Abadha Chakshu is the one who is not under the spell of Maya or a magic. Here, Abadha Chakshusha, Maya, Anavata, Chit Svabhavasya. One who knows himself as Chit or consciousness. And what is consciousness? Never affected by Maya. One who knows oneself as consciousness, never conditioned by, never veiled by Maya, because ever shining in its own reality. One who knows himself in that manner, Maya vinopi, Maya vitvena, vibhavimanasyapi, Maya nasti. For Abadha Chakshu and Mayavi both, api. Maya vitvena, vibhavimanasyapi. So number one, who is not under the spell of ignorance, and for also the Atma who is not in the spell of ignorance, Maya nasti. Just as for magician there was no magic, and for the one not in the spell there was no magic, here also for the Atma there is no Maya, the wise person also there is no Maya. Vyamoha hetu hi Maya. What is Maya? Vyamoha hetuhu. That creates variety of delusions or notions and complexes and conclusions. Sa ahamasmi param brahmeti prakashamane atmani virodadeva na bhavati. That Maya, which is cause of variety of vyamoha. What is the deham pranapi indriyani pitada shunyam chat buddhim cha shunyam viduhu Sri balan dayopaha swamiti bhranta bhushamvadinah Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murte. Mahavyama, Maya Kalpita. So Maya Vilasa is Maya that actually shines and appears and plays, and all these Vyama, all these delusions are created in the Jivatma. Ahamasmi Param Brahma. So Ahamasmi, as long as I am ignorant, so long as Jiva Ahamasmi, I am a waker, etc., so long everything appears to be real. When knowledge Ahamasmi Param Brahma iti, then Prakashamane Atmane, when the Atma shines in its true nature as Brahman, that ignorance cannot stand with knowledge, because knowledge dispels ignorance. Just as light dispels darkness, knowledge Aham Brahmasmi dispels the ignorance, Jivoham. So Mayavi eva tato bhavet va shabdha loka prasiddha Mayavi drishtantartha. That va is only in the first line. So in short, that drishtanta of Mayavi is what is applied here, and that's how you understand the Dashtanta. To explain now, तथा च ज्ञानावस्थायां कदाचित् प्राणाद्याकारां मायां पश्यन्नपि. So wise person, when he performs vyavahara, for that there is a working ego. A sort of identification is there with this upadhi. Just as an actor can perform the role of a beggar only when he has some kind of identification with the beggar, then he can properly repeat an act in the role of an according to script. So some kind of identification, not binding identification, is there the actor has with the role when he knows. Also, a wise person, you can say, some kind of a non-binding identification with upadhi is there. So he functions, appears and acts as a beggar. He also acts as a jivatma in the day-to-day life. Kadachit pranadhyakaram mayam pashyanapi. Since in vyavahara he has some kind of a working identification of the body. So sees the waking state, he sees the vyashti, samashti, individual, cosmic, gross body, subtle body, etc. Otherwise he cannot perform vyavahara. Wise person doesn't see anything, then he doesn't know where to eat and where to put the food. And this chapati, this sabji, if he doesn't see that, then he can't do any vyavahara at all. So when a wise person performs vyavahara, looks like he takes things as we do. He is as systematic as we are. That cannot be unless he sees them and still doesn't get bound by them. That's the difference only. Then he is like an actor, performing variety of roles without the identification with the role. Mayam pashyannapi ajnanavasthayam iva na vyamukhyati. Now the wise person doesn't get deluded even when he performs all those actions as he did earlier, when he did not know his true nature, that I am Brahman. Then, because of the influence of Maya, because under spell of Maya, he took himself to Jiva, to Upadhi. That time he was really deluded, really suffering from a sense of limitation and whatever else it creates. Now, outwardly, the vyavahara, the interaction, transactions are very similar. But internal transformation, when, because there is no identification, therefore, there is no vyamoha, no delusion, no complexes, no sorrow, no limitation, no inadequacy, etc. न व्यामोहित किंतु सुषुप्तवत् निर्विकारैव भवति. Even though he is waking, he is not awake as though. You can call a person waking, when he responds really. You awake or not? What is this? Sometimes jagat ke nahi. That fellow may be really in some other world. But the wise person also in some other world. Like some fellow is lost in another world. This person also is lost in a different world. And still, because the old samskara continues to function normally. Like sleepwalking, they say. Person walks in sleep. I am not sleeping, walks in sleep. If he did not know sleeping, we think that he is a waking person, is sleeping or walking. So samskara walking are there, I guess. Therefore, in the sleep also, because of that samskara, he walks. People go and come back, I don't know. So that also can happen in deep sleep. But sushuptavat, wise person is like that. He is absorbed in a different world of his own. Here he is doing things but not doing. And therefore, like a fellow is asleep and waking, or awake like, doing vyavahara, so also is wise person, nirvikara eva. Meaning that even though in the vyavahara many vikaras are seen, he is walking and talking and eating and drinking and doing all the vyavahara, and so his constant appears to be changing. Nirvikara eva. From his own standpoint, he is totally changeless. Iti. Samanamanyata, between Drishtanta and Astanta, the rest of details are similar. So next verse is Tasmat Sakshat Brahmatma Jnanat Amayavi Maya Tatkarya Sambandha Vinirmukto Bhavati. This is what was said in the previous verse. Tasmat, therefore, Sakshat Brahmatma Jnanat. With immediate knowledge that I am Brahman, Brahmatma Jnanat, Amayavi. He is no more Mayavi also, no connection. Mayavi is the one who is here, locus of Maya. Atma is not locus of Maya. The relation is similar to rope being locus of snake. There is no snake from standpoint of rope. Amayavi. Maya tatkarya sambandha vinirmukto bhavati. Therefore, the wise person becomes totally free from Maya and the relationship with Maya also. Ityamartha Shruti Siddha. What was said in the previous verse? Shruti Siddha. That's what is said in Shruti. Shraddheya mumukshuna. Therefore, don't question what we said. Trust what we said in the previous verse, because that is what Shruti also says. So therefore, next verse says, Sakshadeva savigneya Sakshadatmeti chashrude Vidyate hridaya granthi Nachedityadi tashrude. No statement from Shruti. Sakshadeva cha vigneya. That's what Shruti says. It must be known as an immediate reality. Sakshat Atma vicha Shrutehe. Brahma is Sakshat, is the nature of Atma. Vidyate hridaya granthi. That all granthis, all they get cut asunder, free from all granthis or complexes. Nacheda, in case you don't know, then mahati vinasti. So both knowledge and ignorance, both of them are stated in the Shruti. Saksha eva sa vigneya. Saha vigneya. Saha sarvikara sakshi kutasthatma sakshadeva vigneya. That sarvikara sakshi, the one who is witness of all the vikaras or modifications, kutastha, himself changeless. the changeless witness of all the changes. Because there is no association, therefore what is witnessed does not affect the witness. Atma sakshadeva vijnaya. The self is to be known as an immediate reality. Vijnanam anandam brahma iti ukta lakshano vijnaya. How? Vijnanam anandam brahma. Brahma is vijnanam, consciousness, anandam, wholeness, completeness. So this is how Atma is to be known. Shruti says. A Mayavi is described here. Who is a Mayavi? Who is Atma? Then says Sakshad Atma Yat Sakshad Aparokshad Brahma Atma Sarvantara. From the Brihadaranyaka again, Yat Sakshad Aparokshad Brahma. One is Brahma, Aparokshad Brahma. For the Nayayikas, Aparoksha means immediate. So they would say that these words that you are hearing, this perception or cognition of words is aparoksha jnanam, according to them. Paroksha is that which is beyond the reach of the senses. So what is within the reach of senses is called aparoksha. But Atma is not aparoksha like that, so sakshat aparokshad Brahma. Atma immediately immediate, so directly immediate. Immediate with the intervention of sense organs, sakshat. Without the intervention of sense organs and mind, Atma is immediately or directly immediate. Iti Brahmatmaikatva Shrutehe ityartha. Why? Because Brahma is Atma. Brahma is Atma, therefore. Not that Brahma is object of knowledge of Atma. Brahma is Atma. Evam vijnane labham avijnana hanim cha shrutya darshayati. Evam vijnana, if this knowledge takes place, what's the reward, what's the advantage? Vidyate hrude granthi chidyante sarvasamshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin dushte paravare. Vidyate hrude granthi, the knot of the heart cuts asunder. Chidyante sarvasam, all the doubts are destroyed. Kshiyante chasya karmani, one becomes free from the bondage of all the karma. Tasmin dushte paravare, when para is seen as avara, identity of Jiva and Ishvara, then this is what happens. So this is how freedom is described. Vidyate hrude granthi, all granthis, complexes are gone. I am so and so, complexes are gone. Sense of limitedness is gone. Sense of inadequacy is gone. Sense of lack and want is gone. So, all granthis create sense of lack or want, they are gone. Therefore, he knows himself is free from all limitations. Chidyante sarasamshaya, no doubts remain about anything. What is this? This is Brahman. I mean, nothing creates any question as to what is this. This is Brahman. What is this Brahman? Kshiyante chasya karmani, karmas can only act upon ego. He is no more there, therefore he is free from all influence of karma. That is the vijnana labha. That's the labha, the reward of the knowledge. Avijnana hanim, but if you don't gain the knowledge, na chet iha vedit mahati vinashtihiti, says Kenopanishad. Here, when you are in this human body, you still do not know then mahati vinashti, a great calamity, that's a great calamity. Iti. So this is Arthavada, to condemn ignorance and to praise knowledge. Vidyate viganti nached ityaditaha. Ityaditaha. Ityadi and then tasil pratyaya ityaditaha. Adita iti. So nached ityadi iti. Then aditaha. In the adi shabdat ekadevanu drashtavyam. This and other statements like this. Ekadevanu drashtavyam nehananasti kinchana mrityosya mrityamapnoti ehananeva pashyati. That the truth is to be seen as one. not as a seer and seen, not as knower and known. In the knowledge of truth, there is no duality of knower and known. That's how it is to be known, as one's own self. So that is the reward of the knowledge. Or mrityu smrityamapti. If you see truth as different from yourself, then you live in death from one death to the other. Ityadi shrutaya gruhyante. So this is how the nature of knowledge and wise person is very beautifully described here, very beautifully expounded here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om